Hi everyone, my name is Sara. I'm from Poland, Głogów. My husband Chris and I lead church here in Poland. I was asked to give you some testimonies, share some testimonies, examples of how we make disciples here in our church and also within our Ukrainian community, like with people who had to flee the war. So, well, we've been pastors for just about a month and we started series The Church I See, and we in this series we share our vision for the church for the next few good years. And actually one of the highlights is the importance of making disciples. We feel like it's really important and that people need to hear it and need to start practicing it. We've been youth pastors for a few years now, and what we experience with teenagers, we actually think that can work anywhere and with anyone within church. It's good for every Christian. When Jesus was here on earth, he had every spiritual gift. He was very close to God the Father, and yet he spoke to crowds, people. He was very super popular, and yet he decided that he can only spend quality time with 12 people, no more. And within the group of 12 people, he chose another three that he spent extra quality time with. And that gives us an example that making disciples is not spectacular. It's not like sharing the gospel with big crowds. It's not like preaching to big groups of big congregations. Making disciples is one-on-one. Usually it happens when no one sees you. It takes time. Sometimes it's ungrateful. And sometimes you feel disappointed. It's actually like raising a child. It's annoying at times, and it makes you cry. It makes you frustrated, but also gives you huge joy when you see someone growing in their relationship with God. So we've been practicing it with teenagers, and I'm just gonna give you some examples. When we have kids who come to our group, apart from having regular meetings with them, we take them individually and we spend time with them. So, for example, I go with a girl to McDonald's to spend time with her, to get to know her, to get back to conversations we had, to get back to her problems, pray for her, send her Bible verses. Chris does the same with the boys. And we just, we go to Christian youth events with them, just to be with them, just so they could start trust us and know that we are there for them, and that we cheer them on in becoming better disciples of Jesus. So that's how it works with teenagers, and we believe that God put on our hearts that we need to start highlighting it in our church as well, for the congregation, for the adults. And we encourage people to make one disciple a year, no more, but no less. So when they see, like if they pray for someone, if there is someone on their heart to pray for salvation, when they see that person getting saved, to actually walk with them, not think and rely on pastor or leaders to get them into groups, growth groups, and get them to learn the basics and foundations of the Bible. These things are important, but it won't work if they won't have someone who walks with them in their faith, in growing in their relationship with God. It's really important, and we highlight it and we repeat it all the time. We've been repeating it for a few weeks now, and we really hope that we can see difference in church as well. We share the gospel every Sunday, and we have outreaches, we have events, and it's fine because people can get organized and they pull their weight and they make it happen. But then when it comes to making disciples, we've noticed that people think that it's actually pastors' jobs, when actually we know that Great Commission refers to every Christian. So these are examples of like church, how to make disciples. Spend time with that person. Choose one person, new believer, or someone who comes to church, started coming to church, choose that person and walk with them in their faith. Another different group was when people from Ukraine flee to Poland, and you have people who had to give up their jobs, their identities, and they got labeled refugees. And these were people who are educated, they had careers, and they got separated from their families and ended up in different strange countries surrounded by people that they don't even know if they can rely on. So that was different. And you have people whose hearts are full of grieving, anger, hate. And so so we had these people. We still have them. And here we took different approach, because I think it's different when you have someone who's interested in God and actually is starting this relationship with God. And here we had people who didn't even think about God before, and they ended up in church building and they had to rely on us. We didn't want to brainwash them or force them into coming to Sunday services. We explained everything, that we are a church, that we have Sunday meetings. We invited everyone. We made sure that there's a Russian translation, but we gave them a choice as well. We said that we are happy for them to live here, but they are free to get involved in our church life or just stay away from it. It's like we highlighted that it's okay with us. But what we did is we were for these people. So when people cried, we were just sitting with them. Sometimes it felt very uncomfortable to actually say anything about God, because if you felt that this is no time to even share the love of God, because their emotions were so strong that they wouldn't understand, and actually it wouldn't be right to say anything. So at the beginning, we just were with these people. They cried, they were angry, and we just were there for them. We came to church to have a cup of tea with them, to help them with the paperwork, with all this like stuff that you do when you move to a new place. And after a while, they started coming to Sunday services. The first two Sundays, they stayed in their rooms, but after that, they started coming to Sunday services. We got them involved in our. We have a charity, so we feed seniors in our town, and they started helping us. They became our volunteers as well, because they wanted to be involved. They didn't want to just wait for what will happen. And that's how it started. I think with like the right attitudes of being there, being support, loving them, cheering them on, and just listening to them, their hearts softened and they opened themselves to Jesus. We share the gospel every Sunday. We had translators, so they could understand it, and some of them got saved. Some of them moved back to Ukraine now. Some of them are still here. And I remember one girl, when she was leaving, she said that when she came here, she didn't know God, and she found God here in Poland, and she's going back to Ukraine with God in her heart. And so things like that are worth it, things just like being with people and not actually seeing spectacular changes is the price you have to pay when you make disciples. It won't be spectacular, and you won't be on posters that, oh yeah, this person made so many disciples, because it doesn't work like that. And yeah, with Ukrainians, we've decided to be the salt of this earth. Sometimes you can't say amazing stuff, you can't say good things. You are there to show love and support, and just shut up, because sometimes you have to be quiet. So I think that's it. We had some people got baptized, some people got saved. With Christians, we had two families who already were Christians, and with them it was different, because it's interesting, because although horrible stuff happened to them and they witnessed horrible stuff, their hearts were full of hope and unnatural joy. So with them, it was more about focusing their eyes on Jesus, encouraging them to forgive, and encouraging them to, just to focus on Jesus. And so these are examples. Sometimes you have different backgrounds, but God helps how to make disciples, and I think the most important thing is to remember that it's for every believer. Everyone has to do it. Every believer needs to make disciples, and it's a long term, and it's not spectacular. Okay, thank you. Bye.